Good evening and welcome to the Pmbc meeting for Wednesday, March 27th, 2024. Kirby, can you put up the agenda, or do you want me to do that? That'd be great, thanks. So we do not have a warrant this evening, and I did send out some edits to the meeting minutes from March 13th earlier today. Are there any comments or questions on the minutes?
No, nothing here.
No, nothing here.
Comments make sense.
Is there a, well, thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Okay, roll call vote. Bob?
Bob Rumley, yes.
Bartlett?
Bartlett Harvey, yes.
Stacy?
Stacy Damaris, yes.
Mike?
Mike Scaduto, yes.
And Steve, yes. Next item is Shaker Lane feasibility study. Steve and Stacy. We did have a meeting with the committee. What was it, a week or two ago, Stacy?
2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Do you want to bring us up to date?
I think we've had a meeting since then, but yes, so we discussed at the, gosh, I'm trying, now that I'm having the same topic in different committees, now I'm getting confused as to which ones I've given updates for. So far, as of right now, our last milestone that we made was that the Shaker Lane Design Committee met with MSBA yesterday to review the 2 candidates that we have up for the bids. And our request for them was to actually see if we could do in-person interviews with both of the agencies to pick one, because they were very similar. They're both very capable agencies for us to do design and architecture with. So we had to get permission from MSBA to see if that was something that was possible. I unfortunately wasn't able to go to that meeting because I had an appointment that I couldn't reschedule. So I don't know what the conclusion was of that, and I wasn't able to get that today. So I don't know exactly where we stand with that. But it was my understanding that it probably wouldn't be an issue for us to be able to have in-person interviews with them to come to a decision.
Yeah, I agree. I think, the MSBA is pretty, well, I wouldn't say flexible, but they do understand the, complexities of these kind of things. And I do believe that they will, entertain our request.
Yeah. So I'll try to have an update for that by tomorrow's school committee meeting. So at least we'll know about that. Okay,
great. Shaker Lane, Littleton High School roof update. We don't have an update from Brian, but as I understand it, I believe the punch list items have been done. So I need to round back with Brian and see if we can, dispatch some of those invoices for the contractor. Senior Center, Brian, do you want to give us an update?
Where'd he go?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Sorry, I was struggling with able to turn my computer, my camera and microphone off. So for the Senior Center, as you've seen, we've got quite a bit of activity that's been going on. We've mobilized to the site. I've also brought Michael Bonfatti with me today, who is our site manager. Currently doing all of our day-to-day activities. I wanted him to provide an update. I'm sorry I was a little late. Was there a warrant for this meeting or no?
There was not.
Okay. We did have the requisition from February, or the vendor invoice packet. I'll have to follow up with Michelle to make sure that gets on for the next agenda then.
So we didn't have that on last month's the previous meeting.
I don't believe so. I will double check on that one, but we did have one for the Indian Hill property. But it was a Senior Center one that we had not issued yet. So I believe that one got sent to Michelle last week. I'll follow up with her. Just from a overall standpoint, we are holding a small groundbreaking ceremony, rain or shine, tomorrow. We've worked with some towns and getting some, and thank you to Alicia, I see, is on the call, for providing some of the some protection that we're going to have for a podium. So that is at 4:30 tomorrow afternoon. Came together very, very quickly based on a meeting we had last week with the select board making that decision. But I did want to hand it over to Mike to kind of give an update on where we are. Bob, if you're still in Florida, we have some pictures if you wanted to see those as well. So
Great. Love to see him.
All right. I'll start sharing my screen so you can see those photos. Everybody see that?
No.
No,
No.
there you
Yeah,
go.
yep.
All right. So the beginning of March, the site contractor began stripping topsoil from the site and removing pavement and the existing garage at the abutting property at 31 Shattuck Street. And then from there, they moved on to a bulk excavation of the site and hauling the material away so then they could begin to excavate for foundation and footing. So this is just photos of the excavation as it progressed through the beginning of the month. This is a photo of the footing excavation. So they excavated for the footing and then placed crushed stone. This will be the footing base. About halfway through the month, they formed and installed rebar for the foundation footings. They poured them last Friday. This is a photo from today, which is when they stripped the footings and have begun to set up for the foundation wall installation. And they're also continuing to progress with the foundation footing installation. There's a few photos of that. In the back of that photo, you can see they're starting to install the forms for the foundation wall.
So with the inspector that we've signed on for our testing agent, they've taken samples of the existing material that's on site so that we can get a Sieve and Proctor analysis for that, so that they can reuse some of that fill for their backfill around the building. The bulk excavation that Michael showed there was what we discussed last meeting that resulted in the credit to $36,000 to come back to the town because the DPW was able to absorb some of that dirt to bringing over there. We do have another pour for footings scheduled for this Friday. It might be a washout and be kicked to Monday. Two other things that we've been working with the town hall and their staff is logistics and the use of Shattuck Street. In dealing with the assistant town administrator, it was proposed by Commodore on making the driveway that comes down off of Shattuck Street to become a one-way. And we believe that's going to create a lot more safer environment than cars coming both ways up that driveway. So Shattuck Street will remain untouched as a one-way coming from King Street down towards Town Hall, but you will be able to turn in at the driveway at the construction site, and then you'll proceed out at the other side of the Town Hall. So that's we've been queuing up concrete trucks out on King Street as to not disturb some of the neighbors. We've received a few issues or complaints from some of the residents on Shattuck due to some of the lighting that was relocated in the parking lot that's shining into their living rooms. We have adjusted that. We're going to adjust it again for them, and we're going to maintain an open communication between everybody to make sure that we're good neighbors. So,
Hey Brian, where is that lighting located? Is it on the office building, or is it?
no, and so the telephone pole that needed to be removed at the bottom of the site, right at the corner of the tennis courts, had two floodlights on it that flooded kind of the driveway to get people out.
Right.
What we did is we relocated those floodlights to right next to the electric vehicle charging stations to the left of that, and so that it would kind of pan out and span out over the side of the parking lot. There was a resident about 4 or 5 houses down on Shattuck Street who said that it was shining into their living room. So it's got to be a pretty seeing eye light that was able to get over to there, but we're gonna aim it down to make sure that the parking lot's still lit properly. If we can't achieve that and we're still getting complaints, then we do have another wall pack or a floodlight that maybe we can put up near the top of the driveway, angle it away from the residents, just to make sure that we have some lighting. And we want to make sure that the new signage that we're putting up for this logistics plan is going to be well lit so people understand where they're going. So.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Any questions for Brian on the Shaker Lane or the senior center?
Brian, you said you had the soil tested. Did we get a reading back on it yet?
They just came back, Bob. So it was existing material that they're testing so that we can backfill around it. It's not going to be used for any structural fill, but it can be used to the benefit around the backfill and in some of the site areas. They also provided samples for the crushed stone and the structural fill that's going to go underneath the footings that's being prepped right now. So we hope that the footings should be complete by next week. And then the foundation walls get put into that. There's been a lot of coordination that's been happening, underground coordination where sleeves are going to be in the foundation walls. And then ultimately, once we pour our slab, all the HVAC and electrical and plumbing has been working its way out. All the kinks have been worked out at this point. We've had several RFIs come in to be answered by the design team.
That's great.
Yep. So everyone's invited tomorrow. We will have other opportunities to kind of celebrate milestones. We'll have a topping off ceremony when we get the steel on site. Maybe a Christmas tree put up on top and things like that. We'll make sure that we give as much lead time as possible so that everyone can plan accordingly if they want to attend.
So Brian, as far as the file sub bids, what's the status on those?
For the senior center?
Yeah.
So we have an executed GMP with Commodore. So all the filed sub bids have signed contracts now at this point.
I know, I'm jumping ahead to Indian Hill. Sorry.
I figured. That's okay. Yeah.
Sorry about that. Any other questions for Brian? All right, in Indian Hill. Go ahead, Brian.
Indian Hill. Yep. Filed sub bids were received, I believe 2 days ago, via Project Dog, our e-bidding service that we use. We received a bid for all of the filed sub trades except HVAC. So an addendum has gone out to the general contractors that are out there to be carrying a estimated value now at this point to carry it under the general contractor scope. Once we do receive general contractor bids, which are due on the 3rd of April, we'll be taking those bids and I'm fleshing out the total project budget at this point. I have some good input from Nancy Glencross for all of the IT requirements and the low voltage requirements, security, IT racks, phone systems that are going to need to go into this. And we're going to have a meeting. I would say, Steve, and not to dictate schedule, there may be a point where we have to have some PMBC input as to accepting alternates. And also kind of blessing the total project budget as we see it with some of our contingencies and other placeholders that we have in the budget. Before the intention was to have this budget, make sure that the PMBC has blessed it, and then if it needs to go to the select board and FinCom prior to town meeting on May 7th. So
it's really not a budget. It's a estimated cost, right?
No, well, we will have a firm bid in hand, and so what is budgeted or estimated will be the contingencies that are percentage based, and the other soft costs like furniture, security, other equipment. We will have hard bid. We will have hard numbers for those as well. So the reason I say estimated or contingency is because of projects such as this where we really forced and sped up the design and got it out as quick as possible. There may be some, mechanical things that were not uncovered when the design team put these bids out to bid, and whether or not we want to make sure that we do have some necessary or conservative funds in the event that there's unforeseen conditions that are brought up. So,
Understood. Yep.
Yeah.
Any questions, Brian? Okay, we'll move down to member input. Bob, anything?
I'm all set, Steve.
Bartlett?
No, I'm good, thanks.
So you'll be out there rain or shine, right?
I will find my raincoat and be out there, yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
come early and help us set up tents, Bartlett.
Mike, anything?
I'm good, thanks.
Stacy?
Nope, I'm all set. Thank you.
I'm all set. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, roll call vote. Bob?
Bob Rama, yes.
Bartlett?
Portland RV, yes.
Mike?
Mike Scuduto, yes.
Stacy?
Stacey Scott, yes.
And Steve, yes. And the next meeting is scheduled for April 10th at 7 p.m. and we will see you then. Thanks for your participation and have a great evening.